Hello, hello, hello. This is continuing with the aged Pu-erh search for my perfect cake. This one is the 2014 DEHONG Sheng, of course, spring material. Someone mentioned that whenever I show the package is always, opposite or whatever, mirror image. Yeah, it's not a whole lot I can do about that unless I plan on using a different camera. But again, all these aged Pu-erhs are exactly the same thing, just different years. Of course, they are from different places around DEHONG, but there isn't any really specific detail. This one from the website says from Northwestern. So again, I don't know if that has anything to do with the taste. All I know is I like DEHONGs. And so this is a lot of material in here. Really pretty color. Really decent aroma too on the dry cake, which is not common for DEHONGs. At least it hasn't been in my experience. Not a lot to say about it, honestly, other than it's not smoky, sort of sweet maybe. That's it. Looking for there it is. So I'm gonna taste this cold brew first, and then we're gonna get into the hot brew. So I have about, I think, 4 more samples to go through before I find my cake. And so I'm happy about that. I think I'm doing okay. Part of me wants to try a different tea. I still have to find the perfect Oriental Beauty, the perfect first flush black Darjeeling. So I have some other samples to go through, but I am getting very close to finding my perfect tea cake. And this one, I think, is a really good candidate. Haven't tasted it yet, but it broke down really easy, really pretty color on the cake and everything. And like I said, the smell smells pretty good. So let's check this out. Yep, that's what I like. Now, there is something weird in here though. Sort of a sour note, which I don't like. I'll tell you, so far, I think the mini tea bricks, even though there was a little sour note there too, have been one of my favorites. This one is not bad. It's not bad. Matter of fact, I want to taste it again. It tastes good. It's nice and sweet. Sort of a dark, rich flavor, which I really like. No bitterness at all. Really clean brew, as you can see. I mean, it's pretty much transparent. No smokiness, but I think maybe that sour note I'm getting in the aftertaste can be a bit of smoke, you know. It's almost like I want to like it, you know what I mean? It's good. I like it. It's sweet. It's strong, not like super strong, but nice and strong. And like I said, the dry leaf smells really good. All right, so gonna hit this with really hot water just to rinse it off a little bit, clean it up some. Not gonna hold it for too long. And I was expecting the cake to break up a little bit, but it has not. It has stayed solid. Oh, that's different. Oh man, it smells like like baked. I want to say baked bread, but it's not. It's not bread. It's more like baked pastry, you know. But almost sugar sweetness, but definitely a sweet pastry, but not like not something with like icing or something on it, you know, just like kind of a dark uh, brownie or something, but there's no cocoa or anything, you know, just sweet bread, I guess. Yeah, there you go, sweet bread, but like a dark, rich sort of smell too. It's different. I like it. All right, so again, really hot water, and this cake is not breaking up at all. And so, at the risk of overbrewing this, I'm going to let this simmer for a little while. Not counting seconds or anything, but I'm thinking a good 30 seconds to see if we can get this cake to break up a little bit. It looks like it's swelling a little bit and it's starting to come apart, but the color is not changing much. And so, based on the cold brew, it does seem that you can overbrew this thing, but I think it may be difficult to do. Yeah. I really expected it to just really come apart, and it is still fairly solid. I was breaking this up yesterday for the cold brew, and it broke up really easy. Yeah, that's really good. All right, first infusion, fairly clean brew. Not a lot of activity there. There's a little bit of leaf in the bottom, but not a whole lot. Hmm. So, yeah, again, aged Pu-erh sweetness, very down the middle of the road. This one is a bit weak, and so I'm gonna actually put a timer on this thing. Again, really hot water, and let's see what happens after a minute, because I'm gonna use quite a bit of water too. Um, because I think that first one was close to 30 seconds. Really good. Like I said, down the middle of the road, aged Pu-erh. There is some greenness in this one, but what I really like is those dark, kind of fudgy tones in this thing. And you can see now the cake is really starting to swell, and I probably needed a bit more water in this thing, but we're already at 30 seconds, so I'm gonna let it go all the way to a minute and see what happens. And I'm guessing at this point that this particular tea is, you're gonna really need to cook it good. And so I'm going to keep the temperature high even after this this next infusion, and see if can bring out more of those dark tones, because I think that's what's going to happen with longer steep times. There we go. Now it's broken up. And again, really pretty bouquet. Look at that. That's gorgeous. Color, I don't think it's really coming out well on the camera, but it is just a really pretty green, and there's some darker tones in there. And again, so it's starting to move a bit into the spinach realm as far as the aroma goes, but still, like I said, dark, rich tones throughout, and I really like that. So there you go. That's a minute with near boiling water, and so it's not completely transparent, but still fairly clean. A little bit of activity in there. Yeah. So, I said I was going to keep the temperature high, but I don't think there's much more that I can do with this. It tastes as though it is possible to overbrew it, but like I said, it's going to be really hard to do. And I have a feeling that it's going to get bitter if you do that. So what has happened though, it tastes a bit greener. That may have something to do with the fact that the cake is starting to really open up and everything, but definitely a green Pu-erh. No grassiness really. The age has really darkened the tone of the grassiness. It's doing some really nice things. It's really nice. Yeah, that's dark and kind of fudgy on the flavor. Again, I like it. The cold brew is not my absolute favorite though. Not my absolute favorite. And I really want it to be. But it's that bit of a sour note on the back end that just, and I'm certain that has everything to do with the amount of material that I'm using as well. So, you know, I'm going to drink through that cold brew for sure. And I'm thinking that the second infusion is definitely going to be much better. With these DEHONGs, I'll tell you, man, they go on forever. You know, I couldn't easily infuse these things, you know, 3-4 times on the cold brew. And then as far as the hot brew goes, I can't even count how many infusions. I mean, it's just, you know, I threw out that last batch. I didn't have to. I could have kept drinking on it, you know. So that's one thing I really like about these teas. Have a lot of longevity. All right. So just to play around, let's see what happens if we go cooler temps. And I'm afraid to brew it any shorter than 30 seconds. Just because that first infusion was so weak. Let's see, we're at 106. Try to get this to 130. $123. You know what? I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at 123, 120. So it's gonna be really cool temps. And I'm gonna let this thing soak for a full minute. And let's see what happens here. All right. It is completely open now. You can see the leaves there. Looks like some broken leaves, but it's not coming out in the brew. So looks like most of them are pretty full. So it's really good quality picking up on this one. My, how fast 30 seconds goes by. Which makes me think that maybe the first infusion was closer to a minute. When you put a timer on it, it really changes things. This does seem like quite a long time. The last 10 seconds is like, whoa. 5 seconds. My goodness, so long. Okay, all right, finally. Got to a minute. All right, let's pour this thing off. So this is about 120 degrees Fahrenheit, which has got to be about 50 Celsius, which I think is the perfect temperature when you talk about cool temperatures, right? So 100 for boiling, 50 for cool, and then maybe like cold brew would be what, like 20, 15, 20 degrees Celsius, something like that. Or maybe that would be room temperature. I think cold brew in the fridge would be maybe 5 Celsius. Yeah. So definitely, again, moving more into the spinach area, but still those deep dark tones. I really like that. All right, here we go. Color has not changed much. As you can see, still sort of transparent. Dark color though. Again, not a lot of activity, but there is some. And again, not a lot of leaf in the brew either. Okay. So what has happened now with cooler temperatures is that the strength of the brew has subdued, but it still maintains this dark, fudgy tone. With just a hint of grassiness. Yeah, a hint of grassiness. And so my thoughts on this, which I really like because it makes brewing so much easier, that this particular tea needs and can handle high temps. I imagine you can overbrew this, but it'll be difficult to do so. So again, makes it very easy to brew, because inevitably I will pour in the hot water and I will forget to pour it off. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh no, I forgot. And then you pour off the tea, and when you taste it, you just know it's going to be like this nasty bitterness that you're going to have to just, go through, right? And always a surprise when it's like, oh no, it's perfect, I think this is going to be one of those teas. And the more and more you go through this, and I think maybe the cooler the temp too, the smell is more and more of a spinach flavor. And the kind of darker tones are kind of going now. But not so much in the brew. It's still there. So overall, I like this. Like I say, very middle of the road aged Pu-erh. It's not as boring as just middle of the road. There is something there. Like I said, those dark, rich, fudgy tones makes it interesting. The cold brew I like. Again, I think it's just because of using so much material is what causes it to be a bit overbrewed, and that's where I think that sort of sour note at the back is coming from. But overall, decent cake. I don't know if I can say it's my favorite yet. I still have, like I said, 4 more to go through. So hopefully I find the one that I just cannot live without. From me to you.